welcome to my channel. I'm Sharon, and thank you for joining me here. And subscribe to my channel, please, because I usually come up with different stories and experiences of real life, of how to handle life by the grace of God and everything. So today I'm going to talk about why long distance relationships fail, some of the reasons as to why long distance relationships usually don't make it. I've also been in that experience, and yes, I try to look for ways and to find answers as to why long distance relationships fail and everything. So I usually talk things that are out of experience. So may God bless you as you listen, and I hope it will help you after you listen to this, that you may be able to find solution to do with your long distance relationship that you're going through, or that you went through, or that you are about to go through. And God bless you as you listen. So please subscribe to my channel. I usually come up with life experience quotes also. I have life experience quotes. They are called Sean's life experience quotes, and I'll always be bringing them on my channel and on Facebook and Instagram. And I usually sing gospel music. So may God bless you all. And yes, the first reason why long distance relationships fail is poor communication. And usually what causes the poor communication is the time intervals, because usually in long distance relationships people are usually in either different country or different state or different places, like they're really far. That's why it's called a long distance, because usually you're not together, you're not staying together. So most times you may find, like for example, in Africa and Middle Eastern countries, the time intervals are above 8 hours. So by the time someone in the Middle East is asleep, someone in America is awake, because it is an interval, a high interval time. So that's why you find that it's really hard. So by the time someone wakes up and wants to talk to you, you're sleeping. And usually when you're sleeping and the other party maybe also wakes up, this one is also sleeping. So you find it really hard for people to cope up. Sometimes you may find that you're trying so hard to sacrifice. Maybe you sleep very late, one party sleeps very late, so that you can be able to talk to your partner, and also the other party maybe also does the same thing. So in that time you may find that you're just pulling ropes and everything. So in the process you may find someone saying, why am I even suffering too much? Why am I sacrificing too much? Like you're giving in too much. Communication is really hard. Maybe the other person is somewhere, maybe as the person is at work, which for you are now at home is when you've gotten time to talk to them, and it can't be done at that time. And you may find that maybe sometimes someone may even say she or he is just avoiding me and doesn't want to talk to me. So that is really, really hard. And so that is one of the reasons the poor communication is really a hard thing in a long distance relationships. And so in the next video that I'll make, I'll be able to give solutions or what you can do in order to keep your long distance relationships. So the number 2 reason is peer pressure from family and friends. Usually you may find that you love each other, you love him, he loves you and all that, or she loves you and you love her, but the friends around, the family around usually like pressuring people, and for example, maybe that what is happening all over the world, and for example, maybe someone's of a different race and of a different color. So you may find the family members are not so happy that their child is going to take someone of a different race or color. So you'll find that they'll be pressuring someone, and every time they're in their ears and talking to them, why would you take such a person? Why don't you come up with someone different? You may even find that they find you a girlfriend or a boyfriend, that they find for you a boyfriend to replace the person that you're already with. So in the process, someone is always between the walls, someone is being pressed, and someone is wondering, if my friends and family are all against it, why would I? And most people usually listen to their parents, and most people are usually obedient to their parents, because we are all supposed to be obedient. God willing, we're supposed to be, even the Bible says, we be obedient to your parents, be submissive to your parents. That's what the Bible tells us. So in the process, you may find that most people just give in and say, okay, because of my friends and family, I just have to give up with this relationship, because they will always be telling you that, first of all, the relationship maybe is also very far. When will you get time to see that person? Like, they will come up with different excuses, especially if they didn't like the person, or if they have something against maybe that person, or maybe the race, or maybe the country where that person is, or maybe someone is, they know that country isn't a good country. Maybe, people sometimes say that they don't like certain countries and all that. So that is also another issue. And then the third point that causes also long distance relationships is distance, the long distance. That long distance is a hard hindrance to a long distance relationship. You'll find that because of that distance, it's really hard. Most times, maybe you have to, for example, if that person is in let me say, for the kind of US, for those in the US, I'm not in the US, but the different states, let me say California, New York, or Washington, and someone is in North Carolina, and the other one is in Washington. So you'll find it's really hard. Or maybe, for example, in Africa, I've given that example of states, for those states, because someone may even be just going to take a drive there, but even that drive takes hours. Maybe it may take 4 hours drive, 5 hours drive, just going, and then has to come back. So that person will have to sacrifice a whole day just in that drive to go and meet the other person. So you find it's really hard for them to meet all the time. Or maybe even, for example, it's different country. When it comes now to a different country, it's really so hard. For example, someone is in Africa and the person is in Europe, and it's really hard to get a passport. A passport is okay, but to get a visa to take you to that country, you'll find, even, for example, in the US, it's hard to get a visit visa for a girlfriend or boyfriend. It's really hard to give you that visa. So you find that it's all becoming hard. You would have even, maybe you have the money to buy a ticket, but you can't even get the visa. You will find that you want to visit someone in the Middle East, it's maybe even also very expensive. Maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend is in the Philippines, or is in any country, and you're in a different country. That's also a very hard thing for you to be able to find that person. So that distance also is a great hindrance. So you'll find that sometimes people have been in a long distance relationship for over 2 years and they have never met. 2 years or even above or more, but they have never really met you. You've never met your partner. So that is also another hindrance, that is distance. So I talked about poor communication, and then I talked about peer pressure, and the third one I talked about was the distance. So another thing that I want to talk about is fear and doubt. Another point that causes long distance relationship is fear and doubt. Most times someone that you've maybe not yet met, it may be a long distance relationship, even if you have met and you have been together for some time and someone travels, there's a lot of fear and doubt in someone's heart that maybe those people, I may be here and someone is telling me they love me, but where they are, just right there where they are, how are they acting? The people they are meeting, I'm even sure maybe that person met someone else, maybe even that person is dating behind my back. So there are a lot of misconceptions, about long distance relationships. So you find that people are all in fear. As the other party is also in fear, also the other party is in fear that, like, you have even no way of knowing whether that person is on a call, because if you're together, you may even hear someone making a call and know maybe someone is cheating on me or what, but in this process, you're really far, it's really hard. So it's all God's grace that a long distance relationship can really go on. It's all by the grace of God. And then another point is there is always a pretense and hiding of one's character in long distance relationship. There is usually a pretense and hiding of one's character. Usually people, when someone is not with you physically, they can pretend to be what they are not. But if you really see someone physically, it's hard for that person to pretend, it's hard for that person to pretend and say, well, I do this and this, because you'll be seeing their real character because you're there. But if you're not there, it's really hard. And someone may say, that person is not even here, so I can't even lie to you. Someone may even pretend to be what they are not. Even on social media nowadays, if you even put pictures that are not of themselves, someone may put a picture of who they are not, and you'll be here and seeing someone's face, and you think that is the person you're dating, and in the end, physically, that's not who they really are. So there's a lot of pretense and hiding of character. So you may even be dating, but the person is not who they really say they are. So it's really hard. Maybe you've stayed with them for some time and now they're staying far. So it's really hard to really know what the real character of someone is, unless maybe you've been able to meet them and have some time with them, and have had some time and some chat and some talk, and have maybe stayed near each other, so that you can be able to know who the person really is. And maybe you've talked to some close friends and family, and they're able to tell you about them. But if not, it's really so hard. And then that is also another long distance, or one of the reasons that causes long distance relationships to fail. So another reason is comparison with other relationships. People in long distance relationships are always on a keen look of, okay, my relationship is this. So they always like to compare with other relationships, with other long distance relationships, or with their friends' relationships. So you'll find that instead of someone looking at their personal relationship, they are looking at what others' relationships are, or what others experienced in the long distance relationships are, or what others are saying about long distance relationships, or what others are doing in their long distance, and they want to do the similar thing that others do. They want to do the similar thing that others did, instead of coming up with your own ideas, your own ways of handling your relationship, of your own ways of managing each other in that long distance. People usually like to compare with others. So it's really hard, it's really hard if you compare with others, and in the process, because you're copying what others do, you'll find that the relationship has not been able to come up well, and it has not been able to last for a long time. And so that is also another reason. And lastly, the reason why long distance relationships fail, the last point, is the physical exposure of someone. When you physically meet someone, it's different from when you're not physically with someone. When you're physically with someone, there is that way you feel, like you just have that in you, you just have that inbuilt content in you. But if you don't have that physical exposure with that person, there is a way you feel something is lacking, you feel something is missing. So that also is a hindrance, because that person, maybe when there's some who have maybe someone, whenever they need you, they just want to hug you, they just want to talk to you close, they just want to be near you. But because you're not around, you'll find that it's really hard for someone to come up with such a way. So that is also one other reason that can cause a long distance relationship to fail, because of that physically being together. That being together is not there. So you'll find that that person really finds it hard. One of the parties may be okay with it and say, okay, until we meet, or until we be able to meet each other, but the other person may be missing a lot, and it may find it hard for them to cope up with the situation, and in the process they can end up giving up. So that is also another reason. So thank you so much for listening to me. I'll come up with another video some other time. That video I'll explain the solutions to a long distance relationships. I'll be giving a solution to long distance relationships. And God bless you so much. And please subscribe to my channel so that you'll not miss the next time what I'll come up with. And God bless you so much. Thank you for watching me. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. And one last thing that I can say is, don't give up. Don't give up after you've found out the causes of failures of a long distance relationship. You can now find solutions. You can now say, okay, if that is the reason, how do I cope up? How do I come up with a better communication? You can find a solution to that communication that is a hindrance to your relationship. You can find a solution because you love each other. Usually long distance relationships, it's similar love like people who are together. It's the love is deep, just like any other relationship, but just only the distance. So don't give up, and always trust God, and always put God first in your relationship, and everything will be fine. You know, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Have that knowledge and wisdom in you. And the Bible says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all the other things shall be added unto you. So if you put God first, your relationship will move. Your relationship will go so well. God bless you. Bye-bye.